Welcome in, folks, to another episode of Locked On Phillies. And I'm not sure if you missed the news last night. You might have. But the Philadelphia Phillies are going back to the playoffs. It's a red October again in Philadelphia. They clinch the playoff berth, the top wild card seed. And now we are ready for a run like last year's. Oh, man. Just such a fun night. So much to get into. A lot to break down on today's episode of Locked On Phillies.
You are Locked On Phillies, your daily Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, this is indeed Locked On Phillies. I'm Connor Thomas, your host, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you so much for checking us out. Really appreciate it. Man, what a night. The Philadelphia Phillies take down the Pittsburgh Pirates 3-2 in the 10th inning on a Johan Rojas RBI single. I mean, let's just start with the game. Aaron Nola was awesome in this one. It may very well have been his last start in a regular season for the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously, he's going to get the ball at points in the postseason and everything like that. But as far as regular season home games in a Phillies uniform, that could have been Aaron Nola's last. And did he show up and show out? The crowd gave him support, and that was awesome to see. He had a great performance. I know it's the Pittsburgh Pirates, but you go ahead and you handle a playoff team like that, or you pitch like that against the playoff team, maybe you'll give up like a run or two more, but it's better than what we were seeing from him at points this year. Of course, he did still give up a home run, because he's got to, right? It's in the Aaron Nola contract. But no, he looked outstanding. That was good to see from Aaron Nola. The Phil's offense, they were actually getting no hit through 5 innings. And then there was a little bit of an issue with Mitch Keller's, I guess, throwing shoulder or arm, something. He had some kind of injury that caused him to throw a couple warm-up pitches, and then Brandon Marsh takes him deep, goes ahead and breaks up the no-hitter, makes it 1-0. And the Pirates get one back, and then the Phillies get one back, and then the Pirates get one back. And Craig Kimbrell in the 8th inning gave up a home run to make it a 2-2 ball game. But, sorry, I got to get my voice under me. Believe it or not, there's a good amount of celebrating being done. So I'm trying to get back to normal this morning. That might have done it. But, yes, Craig Kimbrell gives up the game-tying home run in the 8th. But then Jose Alvarado shuts things down in the 9th to get you to extra innings. And in the 10th, Jeff Hoffman was great on the mound, setting up the opportunity for the Philadelphia Phillies to walk it off. And Johan Rojas did just that, a single up the middle, Christian Pache coming around the scoring. It was a mob scene. It was crazy how nuts the guys are going about that walk-off by Johan Rojas. And you just love to see it. It's such a cool moment, right? Jeff Hoffman was not on this team to start the year. He comes out and he gets the win in the clinching game of what's going to be a 90-plus win season probably, unless they completely tank it the rest of the year because they have a 6-day hangover, which is possible. But he puts the Phillies back in the postseason with a great performance. He was a big part of it, and he'll get the win in the game. Johan Rojas, who was just called up a couple months ago because of an injury to Christian Pache and a need in the outfield and lack of trust for Jake Cave and no defense in the corners. He comes up and he's been outstanding, and he gets the opportunity to have the walk-off hit to send the team to the postseason. This is the first time since 1920 the Phillies have clinched a playoff berth on a walk-off. I'd be surprised if anyone who's ever listened to Locked On Phillies was alive for that moment. So, yeah, pretty special at Citizens Bank Park. And, man, they were so excited. It was a mob scene. Bryson Stott and Brandon Marsh still got Johan Rojas with the Gatorade bucket, or I guess the water bucket or whatever. They still found him in the crowd after the walk-off and got him good. I mean, John Middleton was out there throwing stuff in the stands. It was great. And this game was the microcosm of the Philadelphia Phillies season. You go out there, and you might be playing a team you should have beaten. You let them hang around a little bit. I mean, heck, some weird stuff might happen. You're getting like no hit through 5 innings. And it's 0-0. You get a good start from Nola, but that's not the typical part. But solid starting pitching, good enough to stay in the game. And then you give up a couple big home runs to make the game tighter than it should be, and everyone's having angst about how this one's going to turn out. And then at the end of the day, the Phillies come through, they walk it off, they fight through, they find a way to win more than they lose. I mean, that's what they've been doing all season. That's why over 162, it's infuriating, and why people have been really annoyed with this team, because it'd be much more fun if they just went out and beat the Pirates by 10 and were a juggernaut and moved on to the postseason. But postseason games are not like that. Postseason games are not 10-0 victories. You don't go out there and beat the brakes off of other teams, unless it's Phillies, Braves, NLDS in 2022. Remember that one, guys? Yeah, it was fun. But no, you don't do that. You play tight games, and you have to battle through, and you have to be a battle-tested team that knows they can win tight games. Well, the Philadelphia Phillies absolutely know that. And they learned that this year by playing tighter games than they probably should have at points, but having to win tough, dramatic victories, come from behind wins, and this team has done it all. So I love to see that. And something that's great for Johan Rojas is I just love to see he's going to be a part of this team in the postseason and going forward. Young player still. If that doesn't give you confidence, hitting a walk-off to send your team to the postseason, I don't know what does. Like, that was insanely good work by Johan Rojas with the bat there in the 10th inning, and his confidence has got to be through the roof. And that plays, like, for real. That absolutely plays. I mean, last year, it was just about guys getting hot at the right time. Gene Segura coming in big spots with that hit against the Cardinals kind of propelled him to a solid postseason. I mean, you look at what's going on as far as Bryce Harper was cold, and then he comes in and starts mashing in the postseason. Like, guys can flip a switch, some guys. It's not like they do it every year, but sometimes the great ones can flip a switch come postseason. So you're always going to have that. But what makes the difference is who are the young players, who are the unsung heroes that are getting hot, that are going to get the big hits near the bottom of the lineup. And Rojas, with that walk-off last night, well, it builds confidence that he could be that guy in his mind and the mind of the fan base. So that's a great thing. I mean, just what a win. It's the first time since 2010, 2011, the Philadelphia Phillies have made the postseason in back-to-back years. That was my 10th grade and 11th grade years. I was in high school. I don't know that I had my driver's license yet the last time this team went to the postseason in back-to-back years. So, like, don't take it for granted. I think it's either the 16th or 17th time this team's made the postseason in their history. Like, they're the losingest franchise in major professional sports in North America. They've only made the playoffs 16 times. It's crazy. Like, they played long enough to compile all those losses, and just, it's rare. Now, this team is not only going back to the playoffs, they've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt they're building an organization of sustained success. Like, do you see them missing the playoffs next year? No. Do you see them? What about the year after that? Like, they've got young talent. They've got proven veterans. They've got guys locked up for a long time, and Bryce Harper and Trey Turner. I mean, they got a lot of stuff they need to continue to be successful, and they continue to build momentum. And they're heading into this postseason. Rob Thompson said it last night after the game in the locker room. He was like, I don't think this team is – or sorry, this was John Middleton says this team is more talented than the team we had last year. Okay, cool. Let's go get it then, Johnny. Let's go win ourselves a chip. That's how I'm feeling today, and it starts with a wild card series. And coming up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how the Phillies – that was how the Phillies clinched a postseason berth, but how did they clinch a wild card berth? And we'll look in on the standings as well. So we'll get into that. I do want to remind you, this will be a fun one. Tonight, 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Phillies are playing the Pirates, or the Pirates are playing baseball, and the Phillies are going to throw some guys out there on the field. It's the hangover game. You can listen to every pitch of the Phillies hometown radio broadcast of that game on the SiriusXM app. Just go to the SXM app and search Phillies, and you'll be able to pull that all up there. Coming up, we're going to talk about what the Cubs did last night and how a division rival helped the Phillies out. We'll discuss on Locked On Phillies. First, I want to talk about Nutrafol. Okay, go ahead and check this out. I mean, you don't have to choose between better hair growth and your health. Nutrafol provides a whole body health approach for men that promotes healthier hair. No drugs, no compromises, just better hair. I mean, Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements use physician-formulated, natural, science-backed ingredients. Their drug-free patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health or anything else. Go to Nutrafol.com/men to take their hair health wellness quiz, and you can identify causes of your thinning hair. And Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair health through whole body wellness. It supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting root causes of thinning, such as stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. And it works. In a clinical study, 84% of men showed improvement in their hair after 6 months taking the Nutrafol men's hair growth supplement. So take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men, and that's spelled Nutrafol.com/men, and enter promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code /men, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. All right, yes, Phillies Pirates, 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. You can listen to every pitch of the Phillies hometown radio broadcast of that game on the SiriusXM app. Just go to the SXM app and search Phillies. You're going to be hearing a very strange lineup tonight with most of the guys hungover, partying like crazy. Rob Thompson said, party hard tonight, come in late tomorrow. Yeah, they're not exactly playing for the win in tonight's ball game. But let me tell you about the situation down in Atlanta that allowed the Philadelphia Phillies to clinch, because I don't know that a lot of people are aware of what happened. I know people were zoned in on the Phillies clinching, but I don't think people fully realize how they got the top wild card, because I explained in yesterday's episode the clinching scenarios, and there were still some people trying to figure out like exactly what was going on. And I was like, I just laid it out for you guys, but I get it. I had it wrong a couple times before the episode. I had to get I had to read up on it before I brought it to you guys. So, but basically what happens is the Phillies last night needed a win, and they needed either a loss by the Cubs or a win by the Brewers. The Brewers lost to the Cardinals, I believe. Let me double check that. I haven't even checked. But I believe the Brewers lost to the Cardinals. They were down like 4-1 in like the sixth inning or something. I don't even have the scores up here. Whatever. But the Braves were down 6-0 to the Cubs. And they're like, okay, well, this game's over. The Braves don't really have that much to play for. The Cubs are fighting for a playoff spot. The next thing you know, you're looking at it, it's like, oh, it's 6-4. Oh, it's 6-5. And the Braves are coming back. And I was sitting there watching. I was getting done my night show over on 97.5 The Fanatic on the radio. I was sitting there watching on the television in our studio, and it's 6-5. There are 2 outs. There are runners on second and third for Atlanta. And I forget who was batting, if it was Sean Murphy. I think it was Sean Murphy. Hits a fly ball to right center field. Not deep, not a tough play. And Seiya Suzuki's running over, calling for it. 2 outs, up 1 run in the bottom of the 8th. And he just completely whiffs it. He just legitimately, he didn't lose it in the lights. He didn't think he was going to get hit by anybody. He just goes, reaches for the ball, and completely doesn't make the play. A whiff, 2-run score. The Braves go up. That is how the Philadelphia Phillies clinch the top wild card seed, is by the Braves doing that and by Seiya Suzuki dropping that ball. And I mean, there's some huge implications to that Cubs loss outside of just where the Phillies are in the standings. Like, I want to take a look at the NL wild card standings this morning. It's nice to see the nice little Z, which indicates a playoff berth clinch next to the Phillies name. But the Cubs, they're now only a half game up on the Marlins and 1.5 up on the Cincinnati Reds. Like, that was a huge loss for them. The Diamondbacks are now a game up on the Cubs. So it looks more and more every day like you're playing Arizona, but that could shift. I mean, now I'm much more interested in other teams' games than I am the Philadelphia Phillies games to figure out who they're facing. But yeah, so just so you're aware of where the standings are. I believe the Brewers also clinched the NL Central last night. Let me just double check this. Division, Brewers. Yes, they clinched the Central last night with that Cubs loss too. So good work by the Milwaukee Brewers to lock that down. Congratulations, Locked On Brewers. We'll see you hopefully in the NLCS maybe at some point. But anyway, the Phil standings, just to look at the wild card, the Phillies are 88-69. They're 6 games up on the Chicago Cubs, 5 up on the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're clinching the top wild card seed. Arizona is 1 game up on the Cubs, who are in the final wild card spot. Then it's Miami a half game back. Then Cincinnati a game and a half back. Then the Padres are kind of out there 4.5 back, but the only reason they're not that is tiebreakers over teams they're trying to catch. They're going to be eliminated. The Reds most likely won't make a late season run. They're going to probably be on the outside looking in unless something wild happens with the 3 teams they're chasing. Yeah, it's going to be Phillies and some combination of Diamondbacks, Cubs, Marlins. Who ends up where? I mean, literally, the Marlins could win today. And yeah, the Diamondbacks could lose, and it could be the Marlins in the 2 seed as early as tomorrow. I believe that's how the math works. I'm not a big math guy, but just keep an eye on it because a lot of stuff can change. And we still don't know who's coming to Citizens Bank Park, but we do know that they're coming to Citizens Bank Park. We do know that they're absolutely going to be here playing 3, well, hopefully 2 home playoff games before even having to worry about going anywhere or going on the road to Atlanta or any of that stuff. I mean, it's so awesome. And thank you to the Braves for getting that done. You're going to regret that because not that the Phillies weren't going to lock up the top wild card spot anyway, but just the fact that the Braves won to cause it. Now it's going to be even sweeter when you knock them off in October. It's so great to have a Red October back. I just think about all the guys that made this season special. And coming up, we're going to talk about another one of them. I want to talk a little bit about, Aaron Nola's legacy as a Philadelphia Phillie. And also we'll preview the hangover game tonight. Again, that's 6:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time between the Phillies and the Pirates. You can listen to every pitch of the Phillies hometown radio broadcast of that game on the SiriusXM app. Just go to the SXM app and search Phillies, and you'll be able to pull all that up there. We'll discuss, I guess the worst game of the season coming up tonight next on Locked On Phillies. First off, I want to tell you a little bit about Jase Medical and the Jase case. The Jase case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use, and all it takes to get a Jase case is to fill out a simple online form, and in some cases, jump on a quick call with one of their board-certified physicians. You can get ongoing care from their physicians on any treatment-related questions. It's doctor-created. It's doctor-recommended. You don't want to be caught unprepared when a medical emergency pops up, okay? You want to be ready to go to take care of the people who need it in your life. And everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jase Medical offers the Jase case, which again, it provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you peace of mind so that you are not just hoping that you have access to medication in an emergency. No, Jase Medical makes sure you have the medication in hand. You're not calling an ambulance and waiting. You're not waiting for someone to get to the scene to help you out. No, you have the stuff on you so that you can immediately take care of what you need to in a medical emergency. I mean, it could be life-changing for you. They handle everything from the online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. You don't get caught unprepared. You're going to want to have the Jase case so to make sure you have what you need in case a medical emergency happens to you or one of your loved ones. So get $20 off on these life-saving antibiotics today from Jase Medical by using my code LOCKEDON at checkout at on jasemedical.com, I should say. That's JASE medical.com. Use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout to get $20 off and go ahead and check them out over at Jase Medical. All right, Phillies, Pirates. Game 2 of the series. The least cared about game of the Philadelphia Phillies schedule. Right now, the probable pitchers are listed as Ranger Suarez. They're on against Johan Oviedo. I don't know if Suarez makes that start or not. He may. They may change that. Here are some of the leaders for the team for the Philadelphia Phillies. Kyle Schwarber leading the team in home runs. Be surprised if he plays. Bryce Harper leading the team in average, 292. He won't play. Nick Castellanos batting 106 RBIs batted in this year for him. He ain't playing. It's going to be such a major give-up lineup right now. I'm trying to think of who even the Phillies have that they could fit in. Unfortunately, for Garrett Stubbs, who was partying like crazy last night, he's going to have to catch unless they put, I don't know, who back there. I don't know who else on the team could even catch. I'm just going to try and look at the roster and see. So you'll probably see Edmundo Sosa will play. Jake Cave will play. Johan Rojas will probably have to play despite hitting the walk-off last night. Stubbs will catch. Pache will play. Yeah, those are the guys that you're going to see in the lineup. And then you'll have to sprinkle in a Stott or a Bohm or maybe a Turner, Castellanos, someone like that. But, yeah, it's going to be a big time. Marsh might have to play. Even though he was out late riding the bull at Xfinity Live last night. There's some videos of that. It's just going to be an absolute bleep show out there for the Philadelphia Phillies in this game. I'll tell you, if I had to play a baseball game right now, I wouldn't be feeling too great, and I didn't party nearly as hard as those guys did last night. So cut them some slack today if they lose this one. And if they do win, well, it's a nice little dub, but That's all right. I just want to give a little props real quick before we wrap up today's episode. It's been a fun one, celebrating Red October. The victory shirt's on. The victory shirt will continue to be worn throughout the postseason. Every single damn day they win, you're going to see me wear the shirt. I'm going to have to wash it a couple more times, hopefully. But I want to give some props to Aaron Nola. Nola's numbers with the Philadelphia Phillies are outstanding. He's going to go down as one of the best pitchers in franchise history. He's going to be on the Wall of Fame one day for the Philadelphia Phillies. He's been an outstanding pitcher during his time here. He's been very inconsistent. And previous years, I've been a huge Aaron Nola fan. I've finally turned the page into being an Aaron Nola disbeliever, I guess, this season. And I don't think that's unfair, right? He hasn't had a great performance. He would tell you the same thing. But here's what I'll say. The guy has gone out there and given you everything he's got for years. He played through the bad times. He helped you get to the good times last year. And I just, if that was his last regular season start in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform, I just want to say thank you to Aaron Nola for everything he's done for this team. Hopefully he continues to do it throughout the postseason. But bottom line, we're going to look back on this and say, I understand why we had our questions about Aaron Nola. I understand why we were okay with him moving on. But we should have appreciated him more while he was here. We're definitely going to look back at Aaron Nola that way. And that's not our fault. I'm not saying we're wrong. I'm just saying that he was a tough guy to get a grasp of what type of pitcher he was going to be day in and day out. You never knew what guy you were getting. And that was the tough part. But you knew the talent was in there. And I don't think that a lot of people rightfully appreciated how talented he's been for the Philadelphia Phillies. Go look at his numbers. They're insane. And that's not on the fan base. It's just he's a weird case study. But he deserves some love. He got some last night when he pitched. He'll get some more in the postseason, especially if he wins a couple games and puts them in position to win a World Series. I mean, what better way to end your time in Philadelphia than that? But I'd be surprised if he's back, and that could be his last home regular season game in a Phillies uniform. So if it is, just want to give a thank you to Aaron Nola for all that he's done for this organization so far, and hopefully a couple more weeks of some good pitching for them. That's all for today's episode of Locked On Phillies. Thank you so much for checking us out. Please make sure you're rating, reviewing, subscribing to the YouTube, all that good stuff. We've got a Red October coming, folks. You're going to want to be locked in on Locked On Phillies because we're going to have your latest news on everything, including tomorrow, a discussion about a player who may be coming back for the postseason. Oh, I don't know. Some interesting reports out there. So we'll have that for you, and I'll break that down a little bit more. But, yeah, it's time to ratchet it up. Get into playoff mode, folks. We're dancing on our own again, and the Philadelphia Phillies are dancing right back into a Red October. We're going to have plenty more on it, so we'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.